Next, 25 weeks and counting. Here in France, the Gilets jaunes or yellow vest protesters once again took to the streets on Saturday. There were demonstrations here in the capital, Paris, as well as in major cities, including Nice, Marseille and Lyon. The Interior Ministry putting the number of participants at close to 19,000, somewhat down from last week's more than 23,000. France 24's Catherine Clifford and Ethan Hadji have details.
It's week 25 of consecutive protests for the Yellow Vests, and numbers are dwindling. So does this mean the movement's running out of steam? Some say protesters have been put off by the violent clashes with police 3 days ago, when the Gilets jaunes joined radical Black Bloc activists and traditional May Day rallies on the streets.
Many of them were shocked by our treatment and repression on Wednesday, so it's not surprising turnout is lagging. This isn't a sign that it's over. We've already seen this over the festive season, when there were few people in the streets. It's to be expected.
Protests elsewhere in the country were also calm. Many Yellow Vests say the proposals announced by President Macron last week in response to almost 6 months of protests, such as tax cuts, higher pensions and a reform of the civil service, don't go far enough. But the numbers at the weekly protests have been dropping since mid-April. Last weekend, French authorities counted just 23,600 protesters across the country and less than 3,000 of them in Paris, a far cry from the 300,000 who turned out across France at the start of the movement.
Well, as well as taking to the streets, anti-government protesters are also taking their demands to Brussels. 3 yellow vest lists are set to run in European elections, while 2 others include candidates from the movement. Polling data suggests that the May 26 European elections in France will see a battle for first place between Emmanuel Macron and Marine Le Pen's parties.
From roundabouts to ballot boxes, after months of protests, 3 yellow vest lists have entered the race for the upcoming European election. Yellow Alliance, created by French singer Francis Lalanne, Citizen Initiative Movement, and Citizen Evolution, led by Christophe Chalencon, one of the movement's well-known faces. He presents himself as a radical politician and an alternative to traditional parties.
All political parties are out of touch. None of them manage to harness the movement, which means that today French people, citizens, want a different approach.
Others have joined the ranks of seasoned politicians. Florian Philippot, head of the far-right Patriots Party, and former presidential candidate Nicolas Dupont-Aignan both welcomed yellow vest candidates. A total of 5 lists now claim to represent the movement. This after yellow vest leaders failed to form a cohesive group.
It was unthinkable that a homogeneous political ideology could ever come out of this movement.
22 days before the election, yellow vest candidates have struggled to gain momentum.
Right from the start, the movement rejected any kind of organization. They have rejected every form of compromise, dialogue or representation, so any political outcome is extremely unlikely.
Far-right politician Marine Le Pen and Jean-Luc Mélenchon, leader of the ultra-left France Unbound party, both feared the emergence of a yellow vest list. But for now, their influence remains limited.